All right. So, hello everybody. My name is Tyler Tolman. I'm the type of person that when problems arise in the world, I like to come up with solutions and like to be able to provide solutions for myself, number one. And then obviously, if there's a problem in the world that I need to solve for myself, obviously there's other people out there that have the same problem, and I try to provide that solution to other people. So the problem that I'm talking about is EMF, electromagnetic frequencies that can potentially damage our health. These things come from Wi-Fi, they come from cell phones, they come from cell phone towers, they come from smart meters, and all kinds of things, all kinds of devices. So I've seen a need that has arisen that's like, oh, I really need to protect myself potentially moving into 5G. There's two ends of the spectrum of people like, saying major negative things about this. I'm not going to get into it right now and what that potentially entails. And then there's more pragmatic people or people that deny that, but still there's some obvious repercussions of using and having electromagnetic frequencies closer to us, even when it comes to the third and fourth generation mobile phones and things of this nature. So I've developed this clothing, and I just want to talk about the level of protection that you'll receive based on the actual hard facts of the testing that's been done. I want to compare it to maybe some other industries that are out there that are doing the exact same thing. It's like, well, okay, Tyler, you've developed this 5G, 4G protection clothing. How does it, stand up against other stuff that's on the market? Because obviously, when I first saw the problem, what I did is I went online and I researched different companies, and I wanted to buy hoodies and underwear and pants and different things that I could purchase for myself to use to have that level of protection. Even things around my bed and house and different stuff like that. I did a lot of research into it. And to be honest, what I found was great, but it was very expensive. And when I actually started testing it, looking in deeper into what the material was, what it entailed, I wasn't the most impressed. And I just thought, man, like, this could be done way better with way more protection at a much better price. And so I saw a need for a solution to take place. So that's pretty much what I've done. This is just on my little Facebook page here. I want to walk you guys through a little bit of the website so you can see that here. We have a website. We're in a pre-launch phase now. So we actually have hats. We have full face cover guard. We've got hoodies, light hoodies that are breathable. You can wear even in warm weather, and then all the way up to like warm hoodies. So if you live in a very cold climate, we've got super thick, warm hoodie types of things. And so you guys can see some of the pictures here of the different things we provide. Obviously, if you're like out in public these days, masks are very acceptable. And it's the type of thing if you were like really under a tower or close to high radiation, like really I should be selling this stuff to people who are actually putting up 5G towers, doing the testing, exposed to it a lot. The level of protection that I've been able to put into this clothing line is legit, and I'm going to show you the actual details of that. So we got pants, we've got men and women's hoodies. Sorry, I didn't mean to click there, but men and women's pants, full protection. We've got the full look of the actual metal. It's all made from 100% saturated silver. And so you can actually buy clothing that looks like the silver, or you can get clothing where you can't see any of it. You can see the pants here, you can see the hoodie here. Again, you can see the hoodie here, and you can get black and white for now. We've got all different sizes. We've got a big range that we're developing, new things that will be coming in that are pretty awesome. And so I just wanted to show you guys that stuff is there. For the pre-launch, the way that it works is if you want to order something, we're actually making it to order. So our promise is 6 to 8 weeks before you receive it. But by being a part of the pre-launch, helping us to forward fund this and get this out to as many people as possible, even teenagers and kids will be developing it for. We're giving you a 20% discount, which is pretty massive, considering we're already in a space of like providing you guys way better prices than anything that I've seen on the market. So first off, I want to establish that yes, there actually is a problem. So let's look at the actual science of that. This is PubMed, is a governmental website that publishes a lot of information online. To be in a medical journal, there has to be reputable sources. This is the International Journal of Oncology. Oncology, if you didn't know, are the people who study cancer. Okay, so straight away, this is a massive study. You guys can see the link here. You could more than welcome to copy it. I could post it for you guys if you really want to know more. But what we want to do is just kind of look at the basic of what this is saying. What this is saying is in 2011, International Agency of Research on Cancer evaluated the cancer risks from radio frequency RF radiation. So RF radiation is the stuff that's coming from towers. It's the stuff that's coming off of your cell phone. Okay, and back in 2011, there was no 5G. Okay, this is 3G and 4G technology that they're testing. You got to understand that 5G is going to be radical increase of the actual frequency. It's not 10 times, it's more like 100 times the amount. We can show you guys that in a minute. Human epidemiological studies. So epidemiology is like looking at all the different studies put together, gave evidence of increased risk of glioma. Okay, so there's an increased risk of glioma. What is a glioma? Let's just go ahead and look at Google. This is what Google has to say. A glioma is a type of tumor that starts in the glial cells of the brain or the spine. So this is saying there's a direct link between the formation of tumors in your brain and in your spine from all the studies that are being looked at together, and also acoustic neuromas. If you want to look at acoustic neuromas, here's the definition here. Morton's neuroma involves a thickening of the tissue around one of the nerves leading to your toes, can cause a burning sensation. So this is pretty much like can cause thickening of tissue and growth essentially in the nervous system tissue, which would lead to nerve pain and a whole plethora of things. Okay, so this says that RF radiation was classified as a group 2B possible human carcinogen. Okay, this is back in 2011. Further epidemiological studies on animals and mechanistic studies have strengthened the association. So further research has said, oh, actually this is a problem. In spite of this, most of the countries have done little to anything about this hazardous RF radiation. On the contrary, ambient levels have increased. And in 2014, WHO launched a draft of a monograph on RF fields and health of public comments. It turns out that 5 out of the 6 members of the core group in charge to draft are affiliated with the International Commission on Non-Ionizing Radiation, an industry loyal to NGOs. So basically what this is saying is the people that are put in charge to actually govern this, 5 out of 6 were affiliated with the very industry that's potentially has reasons to try to hide the scientific evidence. And that's basically what this is saying. They've dismissed the scientific evidence, yada, yada, yada. And then you guys can go through it. I mean, it's pretty obvious. The use of wireless digital technology has grown rapidly during the last few decades. I don't really need to go through this, but basically what it's saying is there's an increased risk of brain tumors, neuromas, gliomas, cancer. There definitely is potentially a major negative health effects that come from RF radiation. Okay, PubMed, International Journal of Oncology. You know, you can find all kinds of research out there. Unfortunately, you're dealing with a multi-trillion-dollar industry that is doing everything they can to make sure that you just keep using cell phones and Wi-Fi and all this technology and not worry about it. As the technology keeps increasing as well. So one of the main questions that I got is, well, Tyler, you know, does your stuff work against 5G? How do you know? How protective is it? Do I need to buy single layer? Do I need to buy double layer? What does that look like? So I want to show you guys some of the charts that are available online today. So this is just one of the companies, and there are many. And you can look at the charts. If they're like, you know, a legitimate company that's selling EMF protection, they receive certificates of their actual material and what kind of protection it provides across the entire range. Okay, so this is just copy and pasted. I've just blacked out the actual company. I don't want to say anything bad about any other companies. And in fact, all of the companies out there that are providing this stuff have a level of protection that's pretty damn good. So here's just one random company that sells clothing, and it shows CB radio. You can see 4G technology, the level of protection. The way that this is measured is called decibels. So what this is saying for 4G and 5G mobile, when it launches, this is the frequency range, and it will have a 50 decibel reduction in harmfulness against these frequencies. And the thing you got to understand is that, you know, the frequency can be damaging, especially if you're close to a tower, if you're holding the cell phone to your head, if you're right next to the Wi-Fi, if you live with a smart meter attached to your house and it's sitting by your office or by a couch or somewhere. You know, these radiations will have damaging effects over time and distance. So the fact that you could put on any clothing that would potentially reduce that and just wear it around the house, a t-shirt, some pants, some shorts, some underwear, whatever. You know, what I've done is the research that I've seen is that it's actually your main organs that are the most sensitive. Your heart, your liver, your kidneys, you know, your lungs, your immune system. The main organs that are affected are, you know, skin, all the things that are exposed. A lot of people are really worried about brain tumors, and yes, you stick a cell phone straight up to your head, there's an effect. But the research that I've done is the head is actually more protective than everything else because we have a thick cranial cap, a thick skull. But that's not the case for children who have smaller skulls that haven't fully developed yet. So they're actually more susceptible. So we should have our kids wearing stuff that is protecting them. But the point I'm trying to make is any level of protection is going to be good. If you can reduce EMF radiation down to a certain point, it's not really going to affect you in a negative way. So I'm not saying anything bad about these companies. I'm just showing you the facts. Okay, so what's happening here is as we start to move into the 5G levels of radiation and future 5G, where 5G has the capacity to go to very quickly, is up into the 30,000, 40,000 megahertz frequency. And you can see what happens with our competitor's brand. They start out at 50 decibels. And then once you start to go into the higher frequencies, you see that the actual protection falls maybe somewhere down in between 30 and 40, which is still protection. It's still good. But what I saw is like, you know what? I want to have the best protection available. And so this is our actual chart. Our chart is listed slightly different. As you can see, this starts at 10, 20, 30, 40. Ours starts at 20, 40, 60, 80 because automatically it's much higher. Okay, so when we move into the current 4G, 5G model, we're looking at in between 60 to 70 decibels of protection. Okay, so you come back to this, 4 to 5G, more around the 50 mark. Okay, so there's around the 50 mark, ours between the 60 and 70 mark. So straight up, quite a bit more protection just on those lower frequencies. But what's interesting is with the pattern that we've used and the 100% of the silver that we've used, it actually increases with the higher frequencies, which is very interesting. So based on the way that you make it, the pattern, the way that it's stitched, how much you're actually using, and what I've researched is a lot of these companies are using about 40 to 50% silver saturation. Again, ours is 100%. You can see that the protection actually goes up in the higher ranges. So, you know, as they increase this bandwidth and this frequency in the millimeter waves, you actually get more protection. Now, given it's going to be putting out a lot more, but the protection is actually better. And you also got to understand that what I'm showing you here is one layer of protection. Most other companies, all of them that I've found, only has one layer of protection, and it's around that 40 to 50% mark. Ours is 100%, and we also offer double protection. What I'm wearing here is 2 layers. This is showing you the protection of 1 layer. And I don't have the science for it, but I believe you go 1 layer and you put another layer on top of that, it's not going to just be double the protection. It's going to be a lot more because of the thickness. I hope that makes sense for you guys. You know, imagine shooting a bullet into metal and it's got a certain amount of protection. After that, it pierces. You put 2 pieces of metal together, it actually strengthens the first piece of metal all together because they're together. Might be a good analogy, might not. I think you guys catch my drift of what I'm trying to say. So, you know, what I'd also like to do in the future is maybe go into some of the companies that sell just hoodies and pants. You know, you look at Champion, you look at Nike, you look at some of these other companies, you just want to go buy a hoodie that's warm. You're already looking at $350, some of them $400, some of them $300. And the cool thing is we're able to actually come out onto the market and provide not only a warm hoodie and a nice, good-looking hoodie for that same price, but it actually has function. So now you guys can pay the same amount of money you'd pay for a good hoodie from a nice shop, and not only just be warm, not only have something to wear, but you have a level of actual protection you're always walking around with, knowing that you're protecting your DNA, you know you're protecting your cells. You can start to get this stuff for your children, and it's a win-win altogether. So the main questions that I wanted to answer were, how protective is it? You know, people are already buying our stuff, and I really appreciate you guys supporting this movement and this cause. You know, it'd be great if we could, ban 5G altogether. There's lots of benefits of 5G as well. If it were up to me, I would just hardline everything and not have all these frequencies through the air. But I don't see that happening. I don't see that changing. So it's about coming up with solutions with what we can do to protect ourselves. And a lot of people are asking the question, should I get 2-layer or 1-layer? Is 1-layer still going to be protective? So here's your answer. The 1-layer is still massively protective, and the protection goes up with the 5G range. And, for me, if I could spend another $50 and have double the layer, double the protection, if some of these conspiracy theorists that, usually end up right are actually correct about the 5G stuff, they're saying it's military technology for crowd control, for like doing some pretty nefarious activity. I'm not sure I believe that, but I'm going to err on the side of caution. So if I put this stuff and I'm rocking down the street with this, and it really is like a military use crowd control, and people are like burning and melting from these frequencies, I'll be walking around not feeling anything because I have the full protection from those wavelengths. And again, I didn't mean to go into that, but I did, so there it is for you. Look into it, guys. Do your own research. But whatever you do, look at both ends of the spectrum. Come up with your own conclusion, and I think you'll find out, like, oh, okay, if I'm going to be investing in clothing anyway, I might as well make it functional. And we are your company. We're providing, from what I can see, the best protection at the best price. And at the pre-launch, we're making this stuff to order. And doing it at a 20% discount. We're absorbing a lot of the shipping and everything around the world. So we're really doing our best to get this out to you guys as much as possible. And as more and more people are buying, we're going to diversify. We're going to do everything we can to make some quality products. Blankets, Faraday cages for your bed, anything you guys are really asking us for, we're willing to do. So we're a small company looking to grow and looking to provide solutions. Let us know what you're looking for. Thanks for watching. Have a great day.